Welcome back, dear friends. A serial killer is an individual who commits multiple murders, each one separate from the others. And these killings are motivated by psychological reasons rather than money or war. In this segment, join us as we introduce you to 10 deadly serial killers in history who had the highest number of victims. Number 10. Gary Ridgway. Confirmed victims, 49, with a potential number of victims exceeding 90. Gary Ridgway, also known as the Green River Killer, got his nickname because the body of his first victim was found near a river called the Green River in Seattle. He was a truck driver who confessed to the murder of 71 women, primarily prostitutes and runaway girls, between 1982 and 1984. He would typically strangle his victims during sexual intercourse, and then dump their bodies in remote areas near the Green River. The police had long suspected him but had no substantial evidence against him until DNA tests in 2000 and one linked him to some of the victims. Ridgway, who until recently was the deadliest serial killer in the history of the United States, is believed to have killed over 90 people. However, he was convicted in only 49 cases. Number 9. Anatoly Onoprienko. Confirmed victims, 59, with a potential number of victims exceeding 59. Anatoly, known as the Beast of Ukraine, killed over 52 people between 1989 and 1996. He attributed his murderous inclinations to his upbringing in an orphanage during his childhood. He described himself as a robot controlled by a supernatural force that compelled him to kill his victims. Anatoly was sentenced to death, but later had his punishment reduced to life imprisonment due to changes in the laws. He claimed that, if released from prison, he would kill again. However, he died in prison in 2013 due to a heart attack. He was sent to an orphanage at the age of 7 by his father and older brother. And this played a significant role in Anatoly's hatred towards families and his killings. Number 8. Andrei Chikatilo. Confirmed victims, 53, with a potential number of victims at 56. Chikatilo, a former teacher known as the Butcher of Rostov, was convicted of killing more than 53 women and children between 1978 and 1990 in the Soviet Union. Interestingly, he had been previously convicted and executed for one of the murders that Chikatilo later confessed to. Chikatilo was executed in 1992 at the age of 56. Number 7. Abdul Jabbar. Confirmed victims, 65, with a potential number of victims exceeding 300. Jabbar was a horrifying serial killer from Afghanistan who was brought to justice for the murder of 65 men and boys. It is believed that his actual number of victims is much higher. His preferred method was to rape his victims and then strangle them with a shawl. He was apprehended by the police while attempting to kill another victim and was sentenced to death. Abdul Jabbar was hanged in 1970. Unfortunately, 2 innocent individuals were executed before his arrest due to a murder he committed. Number 6. Yang Xinai. Confirmed victims, 67, with a potential number of victims at 67. Xinai, also known as the Monster Killer, would enter homes in suburban areas at midnight and brutally murder the occupants using tools like a pickaxe, hammer, and machete. Initially, the police attributed the motive for Xinhai's killings to robbery and rape. However, investigations revealed that he randomly selected the families of his victims and enjoyed the act of killing. He is the most notorious serial killer in Chinese history and was sentenced to death for the murder of 67 people. Heinous was executed in 2004 at the age of 35 after a 3-year killing spree. Number 5. Scariest. Confirmed victims, 70 individuals, with a potential number exceeding 70. Scariest is one of India's most infamous serial killers, responsible for murdering over 70 people in the country using a hammer. He claimed that killing brought him immense pleasure, and stated in his final words before execution, "No one should be like me, committing senseless murders." Number 4. Pedro Rodriguez Filho. Confirmed victims, 71 individuals with a potential number exceeding 100. Pedro personally claimed to have killed over 100 individuals, with 47 of his victims being fellow inmates. He even murdered his own father for killing his mother, and later pulled out his father's heart and consumed it. Number 3. Daniel Camargo. Confirmed victims, 72 individuals, with a potential number exceeding 150. This Colombian serial killer allegedly turned to murder due to the abuse and mistreatment he suffered from his adoptive mother during his childhood. He is accused of sexually assaulting and killing over 150 women and girls between 1974 and 1986, with a primary focus on teenage girls aged 10 to 15. In 1994, one of his cellmates killed him for murdering their fellow inmate. Number 2. Pedro Lopez. Confirmed victims, 110 individuals with a potential number exceeding 350. Lopez, also known as the Monster of the Andes, targeted teenage girls and confessed to killing over 300 individuals. Although he was convicted in only 110 cases, he committed his serial killings between 1969 and 1980, sexually assaulting and murdering young girls. In 1980, he was apprehended in Ecuador while attempting to abduct a girl and admitted to strangling at least 310 children, mostly from impoverished areas of Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru. Pedro Lopez received a 16-year prison sentence in Ecuador but was later extradited to Colombia in 1994. He was admitted to a psychiatric hospital and released in 1998 when it was deemed that he was mentally unfit. And number 1. Luis Garavito. Confirmed victims, 138 individuals with a potential number exceeding 400. Garavito, known as the deadliest serial killer in history, earned the nicknames the Beast and the Monster of Genoa due to the high number of his victims. He confessed to killing over 140 children, but experts believe he may have murdered more than 400 after sexually assaulting them. In 2000, at the age of 42, Garavito was sentenced to 835 years in prison for the murder of 189 boys between 1991 and 1996. He was born in Genoa, Colombia, and would masquerade as a charity worker, salesman, priest, or disabled individual to select his victims from boys aged 8 to 16. Well, those were the 10 terrifying serial killers in history. I hope you enjoyed this video. I am waiting for your comments and suggestions.